External, sir.
Probably tentative schedule they will release.
Maybe
So
sir 8-5 sir.
tentative timetable release, right? Similarly, they will release even lab also shortly.
Sir, internal lab sir.
Internal lab before the conduction of the test, third internal test, probably last week of this month. Because after the internal, we need to do go with finalization of all marks and all. Probably it will be before internal test three, I think. Ready?
Always ready sir.
Okay, fine. So good morning. Today we are going in learn in detail of internal structure of the Windows Phone 7 app. How we know the internal structure of Android phone and iOS as well. Now we are going with to learn Windows Phone 7 app. So usually, Professor, Windows Phone 7 app, I like your storyboard of iOS. Windows Phone 7 app is also a storyboard. So the storyboard, the name of storyboard in Windows Phone 7 is the Metro, as we have seen in the previous class. Metro is a designing tool for Windows Phone app. Similarly, storyboards are the designing tool for iOS application. See, interesting thing is storyboards are also supports to the Silverlight control type for managing animations in code. As we have seen, the third-party applications which will be meant for the Windows Phone 7 app, Windows Phone 7 app, third party also supported towards the Windows Phone, Microsoft Windows Phone. Storyboards are also a control type, means third-party plugins which supports for the Silverlight framework. So these storyboards can be editable and editable through the XAML pages. So this uses these animations, means animations and all you can define under the XAML application page by editing that one. And also the animations are limited only by the transform applications. Animations limited only by transform operations you are allowed to perform on objects. So when you think is animation, animation is what? Animation is nothing but movement of objects, so random order or the sequential order, right? So to move, you are moving the one object from one coordinates to another coordinates. So then you feel that the object is moving or animation is happening. So such kind of the definitions which can you can add that in an XML page. Suppose anytime you want to provide the user with a custom transition between your pages or element updates, you should consider creating an animation to smooth the user experience. Usually, you may heard about the Kindle. Kindle, it's a Kindle. What is that? It's a text pad, right? So when you move the pages, how it look like, how you are turning the pages manually, the same effect it has given in that Kindle application, right? So it can store your marking. Suppose most of the time what we do is, if it is our own textbook, usually we mark the highlight some important points in the book for later reference or quick reference. In the same way you can mark it here also with the help of this, means you can provide the transition effects between pages or the element updates whenever it occur. All these things animation effects which will you can do it in using XAML. So because storyboards are held in XAML, you can either edit them manually or use expression blend. Whatever you see is whatever you get editor. So Windows Phone app, it uses the WISI editor. Whatever you see is whatever you get. So this editor is used to edit the animations, provide the animation effects to the existing elements and pages. Also, you can make use of the expression blend for the objects and timelines panel at the left. So I'll show you the screen of this editor. Then you are able to understand the plus icon to create a story. So observe the anatomy, how the wherever you see is wherever what you see is what you get. So using that editor, you are going to create the pages for the Windows Phone. So just observe here in the left part, this is the Project Explorer window. Then the assets you are going to add to a page and the state of the asset and the device. So emulator is the device here. Also you look into that. Similarly, what you have the controls you have in the Android Studio, here also you have the controls here. So border you can put for the page, button, checkbox, all these are the views of a page. And in this objects and timeline, you can set when that you can set the sequence of the page appear whenever user clicks on the navigation button. So you can fix the timeline when you can. So if you work with the experience of Visual Basic, probably Visual Basic also use the timeline, means sequentially when you place the pages by navigation, which page appear next you can decide through the timeline. And here at the right part of the screen, properties window resources are available. So properties of a particular view which you selected in the Windows page. So when you select that Windows page, the corresponding selected element properties which will it is going to display here. When you go with the resources, app.xaml file is defined, you can edit manually or you can use the drag and drop option to design the Windows Phone applications. I hope you understood. And here the at the bottom resultant of the code of execution of this. Once you have a storyboard, you can add keyframes on your timeline for each individual element you would like to perform a transformation on. So by clicking the left navigation or right navigation, which page should appear next, which page should come first, all such kind of things you can define under the timeline. This can include moving objects and changing properties. Properties like color, opacity, changing the font style, etc. and so on of a particular object. If it is text object, you can apply such things. If it is a object of solid objects, you can perform color, opacity, etc. and so on. Depending on the object type, the corresponding property is going to be get displayed to you to edit them or to change as you desire. After setting up your timeline, you can start the storyboard in the code. So the name you created for your storyboard will be accessed in the code behind. So in the code behind, using application.xaml file, you can edit exclusively the name of the page for activity page of that Windows Phone 7. And these are the important features of pivot versus panorama. This is the probably most of the time one question it is coming from this Windows Phone 7, difference between pivot and panorama. So these controls are used to delineate categories and subsets of data. See, observe here, here first, second, here this is panorama effect. So panorama effect is usually behind the visibility of your mobile visibility, you can scroll the horizontal scroll by allowing the horizontal scroll. You are able to visible that particular items placed on that visibility. So pivot, you with the pivot control, you get strict isolation of these groupings. You can see strictly it is isolated. Means there is no movement of the screen is present in this. Whereas in panorama, transitions between the groupings with discoverable content on the window boundary. So in the pivot, fixed boundary is present for the pivot content, like absolute absolute in the Android means specific positions are fixed. It is called as a pivot. Whereas panorama effect is that you can scroll the invisible content to the main screen. So for example, here in the second figure, this is on the upper part you can just see publication is expanded behind the scene. When you move the screen using the touch event, that is invisible part will make visible by the phone. Such kind of the effect of the panorama effect. And also if you come across with your camera, what is the panorama effect? So wider angle coverage of the uh, entire picture, right? Suppose if there is a group in front of you around more than 400 members, you want to place every all the one in a single picture, means you can create a panorama effect, and you can capture the photography by slowly moving from one edge to another edge, usually left to right. So finally, you are able to get the one single photo of all 400 members in a single photo. So that is also another panorama effect you can build using cameras. The another subtitle for the this discussion is emulator. So look here, the Windows, why Windows is failed? Because it is square based tiles. Each icon which is displaying here, it is called as tile and background. The background you are set is black background, and foreground is the tile. So one application, Internet Explorer, and there be names application. Here at the bottom, it's a Windows keypad. This is previous navigation, it's search option. These are all hardware controls. You can visible this one. These are all hardware controls. Now most of latest phones having the software controls. So not just a simulator, the emulator runs a completely sandboxed virtual machine in order to better mimic the actual device. So whatever you create the applications when you deploy in the emulator, it will create the separate sandbox. Sandbox is nothing but it's a security box to run an application in the emulator or the Windows device isolately, means there is no connection between two applications. Each application which runs is independently. To make it, the sandboxes are used. Why virtual machine? Virtual machine meant to run a in a single machine, multiple operating systems will be run. Similarly, virtual sandbox is a security box where the it isolates all the application independently, right? It also comes with some customization and runtime tools to manipulate sensors that are being emulated on the device. So emulator, it is not only just runs your application, almost it simulates your GPS system also. It simulates, it uses the accelerometer also, it uses the sensors in sensors. So it uses the device sensors that will be replicated in your emulator. This emulator imitates all the features which are available with the real-time device. You can test and develop the application using Windows Phone 7 emulator. Now, this is the one application, like how we discussing all the way the Hello World application in all the programming languages. Similarly, here mobile application, if we discuss this, we are using the application called as Derby app. So Derby app. So to create the Derby app, what you required? You require to have the Visual Studio Express edition. Visual Studio Express edition. Suppose if already you install the Visual Studio Professional edition or the SC edition, Standard edition or the Express edition, you try out using the same version which is already installed in your system. Use the same Visual Studio and try to create the mobile application for your Windows Phone 7. So here installed template is Silverlight framework is installed here. Visual C Sharp also installed. So probably you are learning Visual C Sharp, C Sharp in your .NET course. So probably the Windows Phone development will makes it easy because already you know the C Sharp coding style. And only the thing is you need to import and install the Silverlight framework to design the Windows Phone 7 application. So when you create that, provide the project name, the path where that solution is going to be created in that path, etc. and so on. You provided there in the .NET Framework 4 is used here. In that available list of templates, select Windows Phone program applications. Windows Phone's program applications. It uses Visual C Sharp coding style. The next step is in that app.xaml is the entry point for your application. So for entry point of the application for Android Studio is what? Which is the entry point for application for Android Studio? Which file? Android manifest.xml is the entry point. Yes or no? Here app.xml is the entry point for the Windows application, and main page.xml is the page that loads by default. So main activity.java file is going to be load by default. In that it will call the manifest Android manifest.xml. Here same in the same way, main page loads first, then it will call the app.xml to load the GUI, that is home screen. Then application icon.png is the default icon what is shown when pinned, and it is shown attached to a toast notification. So in IC background is the default icon for the Android Studio. Here application icon is the default for the Windows Phone 7. And splash screen image .jpg, it is a resource file to be loaded when this application icon is going to be loaded with the main page.xaml. It is a default image that shows when your app is loading. It just you look into here when the application is loading, the default application icon is going to be set, and the panorama background image is going to be set for the default background. These are .jpg, .png, these are called as resources files. Main page.xml is the XAML is the page that loads by default when you run the Windows Phone 7. App.xml is the entry point for your application. Then to design the user interface, the default Panorama application defines its data context in XML. This data context has first items binding associated by default. Means all the initial setup is going to be made using that main app.xml, right? The panorama control can be likened to any collection based UI element, that is UI table view in iOS, list view in Android. List view, this effect is going to be provided here based on collection based UI element in panorama control. Panorama controls the effect of table view as well as list view, which was used in iOS and Android. So panorama items are the respective rows in that collection element. If by looking into this panorama effect, how it is looking line by line, systematically arranged in a stack based fashion. This is the list view in Android, table view in the iOS. Here it is called as panorama effect. In that panorama, pivot versus panorama. Pivot is a fixed and panorama is a flexible. You can even see the invisible content and bring them to the visibility. So to start using that panorama effect, first right click the project, select and service reference and provide URL of your service. That is service name is here Derby names. Then once you create the service, of Derby names, you can start working with panorama control to bind the data available from these entities. Some default entities which will be present in that Derby names, you can bind that. You can visible that in that add service or reference menu here at the right. After you have made this service, be sure to reference this entity context when your page needs to make calls to the service. So when you request as a user, when you request for a page for that Derby name services, you are going to fetch through this code. Read only means you cannot modify the content which is fetched from that service, Derby service. Derby names and all the names of the Derby, it is going to be retrieved through this URI. So Derby name.svc service control, which is linked in the services, and this link establishes the reference and that to the context object. You made it as read only. Other outsiders of that application are not allowed to edit. What this is going to display? This is going to display the list of all the names which is present in that Derby name service. To bind data to your panorama item, you need to set the item source and text block bindings. These two objects you need to set. Each individual entry in the Derby names entity in OData contains properties. Properties such as name and league, which you will bind to the text blocks in your panorama item. Here the terminologies are different. The concept behind this is you are connecting the database which is present in that service menu, and you are creating a reference to that, and you are binding that reference to a particular text view, that is either it is a table view or the list view. According to that, it is going to be fetch all the content of name and the leaks which is present in the Derby names entity. This is the one output example of that Derby names which it is going to retrieve with the help of panorama effect. So let us look into the snippet code, how you are binding using all the properties and the objects. OData. See, just observe panorama item. First, the panorama item is going to be depicted here. So entry is a root node because you are writing it in an XAML file. Entry is the root node. Each ID which service you are going to define is this. The path of the fetching the Derby name services, and the title for that is a text kind of content you are retrieving. So updated on so and so date. These are all the optional entries. Author name are the optional entries. You skip off this, and the relative link, you are defining that you are providing the edit option to the Derby names. If it is read only, you are not allowed to edit. If it is a write mode or normal mode, you can edit the content of them. The category which category term is Derby names model. It is a database model. The name of the database is Derby name. Scheme which you defining for this Derby name is the path of this active data objects, that is ADO. Then content type which you are defining is application or XML. Then the mobile properties defining that database is Derby name. ID, Derby name ID is the ID of the Derby. Type is integer 32. Integer type of the name ID. You are fetching this ID 29530 is some ID of a particular person having the Derby name ID. Then its name, number, Derby number, legal number, and date added. The type is date time type. So this information you are trying to retrieve from the Derby names database. And panorama item you are defining in the GUI, that is controls. Panorama title is Derby Girls. Yeah, there is just a custom information. This one, a panorama item, header names, list box you are defining. The list box name of that list box is Derby names list, and margin you are setting this margin. Item source is binding. You are binding the object of the Derby sources, that's SVC service control. Here by referencing that Derby names database, you are linking the item source to the list which is available. List box dot item template is the root node of the list box, and data template you are defining. Stack panel margin is set to this, width is 432 pixels. Text block, text you are binding the name. You need how you are binding the database controls in the code part. Similarly, you need to bind the data sources to the GUI list which is represented in the panorama item. You are binding all the item source, you are binding name of the person you are binding. Then your style you are defining for text wrap style, font text extra large style you are defining. Then text blocks you are defining, binding league entries you are binding here. Then all the binding happen in this panorama item. Then finally data binding functions is going to be invoked to display the content present in the Derby name database in the form of list box. So load Derby names is method is going to be called to list all the content which is present in the Derby name database. Derby name data names collection, new object is created with the context. The context means current context of that Windows phone. Then item source, Derby names collection, then load completed, some control message is going to be updated. If completed, it will retrieves, you are defining the Derby names query slash Derby means all the Derby names which is present in the Derby database is going to be fetched and loaded asynchronously, using you are calling the load asynchronous method of Derby names query. The names query is defined here, and URI kind dot relative. URI kind is the path which you define to refer the Derby names database. Relative means depending on the relative content name, the person name, the league, and the date of the play, etc. and so on. So one by one after the other, depending on the relative content, is going to be get it loaded. So this is the one snippet code of fetching the Derby information using the Windows phone. So like this, it is going to display the panorama list item. The leaks, we will discuss these leaks related to the Derby app in the next class. Okay. See, some practice is needed to understand creating the Windows applications. But as a theoretically, it is given in the syllabus. No practical of iOS or the Windows Phone 7. So Windows Phone is taken back from the market. So least importance is given to the topics. But examination point of view, you need to understand and write the answers. Okay. So we'll continue the class in next. Any questions?